Love is one of the few things in life you can never force. You cannot demand it, you cannot bargain for it, and you cannot chase it into existence. Yet, in today's world, where every connection seems to happen at the speed of a notification, too many people end up running after love as if it is something that can be caught by effort alone. The truth is that real love is not convinced by desperation. It is drawn to emotional stability, inner confidence, and personal growth. Love shows up when you stop sprinting toward it and start building a life that naturally attracts it. We live in an age defined by technology, an age where relationships begin on screens, feelings are expressed through texts, and validation is measured in likes, comments, and story views. Technology has changed the way we communicate, the way we express desire, and even the way we experience heartbreak. But despite these changes, the core truth of love has stayed the same. Chasing it only pushes it further away. What draws people toward you is not pursuit, it is presence. It is not pressure, it is peace. It is not constant texting, calling, or over-explaining. It is the quiet confidence of someone who knows their worth. Today, people confuse availability with affection. They confuse attention with care. They confuse instant communication with emotional intimacy. Technology gives the illusion that effort equals closeness, but effort that comes from fear, fear of losing someone, fear of being alone, or fear of not being chosen, creates emotional noise instead of connection. It creates pressure instead of comfort, and pressure repels love. The real strength lies in becoming someone who does not chase love, but attracts it through the life they live and the person they are becoming. Too often, someone thinks that more messages, more videos, more check-ins, or more energy poured into the other person will make them stay. But technology doesn't strengthen weak connections, it exposes them. When someone wants to drift away, all the typed paragraphs in the world cannot anchor them. What keeps a person close is never digital persistence, it is emotional resonance, something that cannot be typed, swiped, or scrolled into existence. You attract love when you prioritize your mental health, your ambitions, your peace, your growth, and your self-respect. And ironically, the moment you stop chasing is usually the moment the right person notices you, because you are no longer hiding behind desperation, you are standing in confidence. In a world where everyone is reachable, people have become more afraid of being forgotten. They fear being replaced with a tap. They fear being compared to hundreds of others online. They fear that if they don't hold someone's attention constantly, they will lose them. This fear drives people into situations where they chase love instead of receiving it naturally. But what technology really teaches us is that forced attention is fragile. If someone's heart is not with you, their online activity will make that truth painfully clear. Their replies become shorter. Their presence becomes inconsistent, their energy becomes unpredictable. And no matter how hard you chase, you cannot change what is not meant for you. Instead of chasing, you must learn to attract. And attracting love requires focusing on the one thing you have complete control over, yourself. Attraction begins with emotional independence, the ability to feel whole without needing constant reassurance from another person. When you rely on someone else to make you feel valued, you give them control over your happiness. Technology amplifies this dependency by making it easy to check someone's activity, wait for their message, or analyze their social media behavior. These habits do not create love, they create anxiety. You attract love by finding balance. You attract love when you can stay connected but not consumed. When you can care deeply but not lose yourself in the process. When you can use technology as a tool, not as a lifeline. The strongest relationships today are not built by people who are online 24/7. They are built by people who have real lives, real passions, and real emotional depth. People who know how to put the phone down and be present in their own world. People who invest in themselves instead of measuring their value through someone else's level of interest. If you ever feel the urge to chase someone, pause and ask yourself why. What emotion is driving you? Fear, loneliness, or insecurity. Technology hides these feelings because it provides constant distraction. You can send messages instead of facing your fears. You can scroll instead of healing. You can watch someone's life through a screen instead of building your own. But love is not found through distraction. It is found through clarity. And clarity comes from honesty with yourself. Sometimes people chase love because they grew up believing that effort equals worthiness. They think that if they give more, do more, try harder, they will eventually be accepted. But love is not earned through self-sacrifice. Love is received through mutual alignment. When you chase, you are often trying to convince someone who already knows they don't want you. And their hesitation is not a puzzle you need to solve. Their distance is already your answer. Technology can make rejection feel unclear because people can stay connected to you even when they are emotionally gone. Someone can keep liking your posts while losing interest in your life. Someone can reply to your messages while drifting further away. Someone can appear present online while being absent in real connection. This digital closeness creates false hope, making you believe love is almost there, almost within reach, almost returning, when in reality, it is not. And this illusion often fuels the chase. But you must break this cycle by walking away from anything that requires you to beg for basic affection. You attract love by knowing that your time, energy, and heart are valuable and refusing to offer them to someone who treats them casually. To attract love, you must become the kind of person who does not depend on external validation. When your worth is built on your own foundation, you stop chasing people who cannot see it. You start choosing people who do. And when someone sees your value without you needing to prove it, that is the beginning of real love. Technology also influences how fast people move on. Because options seem endless, people treat relationships like temporary experiences instead of meaningful commitments. But love is not about having options. It is about choosing one person with intention. And intention is something that cannot be chased. It must be freely given. The more you build your life around your purpose, your goals, your passions, and your personal evolution, the more magnetic you become. People feel drawn to individuals who radiate direction and clarity. Someone with a stable mind and strong sense of self becomes attractive not because they try to be, but because their energy naturally speaks louder than any words. You attract love when your life reflects the qualities you desire in another person. If you want loyalty, be consistent in your own actions. If you want depth, be honest and courageous with your feelings. If you want respect, carry yourself with dignity. Technology has made it easy to pretend, but real attraction comes from authenticity, not filters, not curated posts, not forced perfection, but the version of you that is grounded in truth. Chasing love will only exhaust you. It will make you question your worth, doubt your strengths, and blur your identity. It will push you into patterns where you try to earn affection from those who are emotionally unavailable. And the more you chase, the further away true love moves, because love does not respond to pressure, it responds to peace. Think of the times you tried too hard to keep someone interested. You wrote messages filled with emotion, only to receive answers that felt empty. You rearranged your schedule for someone who barely made space for you. You gave without receiving. You cared without being cared for in return. And technology made it worse because it amplified every moment of one-sided effort. You saw the messages they ignored. You saw the stories they posted while leaving your texts unread. You saw them active online but inactive in your life. And every digital detail made you chase harder, hoping that more effort would bridge the gap. But love does not grow in digital silence. It grows in emotional reciprocity. When you stop chasing, you stop hurting yourself with unnecessary illusions. You free yourself from the pressure of trying to be enough for someone who isn't choosing you. You reclaim your time, your energy, and your self-belief. And slowly, you begin to notice something powerful. The world becomes larger than one person. Your life becomes richer than one connection. You realize there is more to you than your role in someone else's story. Attracting love begins when you start living intentionally, when you build routines that strengthen your mind, when you invest in personal growth that expands your capabilities, when you spend your days pursuing dreams instead of waiting for notifications, when you learn to enjoy your own company without feeling lonely, when you appreciate silence instead of filling it with mindless scrolling, when you develop a life so fulfilling that someone will want to be part of it, not because you chased them, but because they recognize the value of joining you. Technology has given people constant access to each other, but access is not connection. Connection requires emotional depth, and depth requires presence, honesty, and vulnerability, qualities that cannot grow under the pressure of pursuit. When you chase love, you skip the opportunity to build real compatibility. You try to create chemistry where there is none. You try to force alignment where paths are meant to diverge. But when you attract love, it comes naturally. There is no confusion, no mixed signals, no fear. Attraction grounded in authenticity feels peaceful, not chaotic. It brings clarity instead of anxiety. It creates stability instead of emotional guessing games. Imagine a relationship where you no longer wonder whether someone cares, where you no longer wait hours for replies that should take minutes, where you no longer track their online presence for reassurance, where you no longer feel like the only one trying. Imagine love that comes toward you instead of running away from you. That is the kind of love attraction brings, not because it is earned, but because it is aligned. Technology, for all its noise, can teach us something important, that genuine love is not found in the chase, but in the connection that survives without constant digital monitoring. A connection that exists when phones are off, when notifications are silent, when social media is irrelevant, and when you can sit with someone and feel that their attention is not divided. You attract love by being emotionally mindful, by understanding your fears instead of projecting them, by communicating your needs without apologizing for them, by acknowledging your wounds without making them someone else's responsibility. This emotional maturity makes you magnetic because it shows you are capable of connection that goes beyond superficial attraction. Today's world can make people feel replaceable, but the truth is, a person with self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and genuine compassion is irreplaceable. And these qualities cannot be developed while chasing someone. They develop when you redirect your energy toward becoming whole. Love is not about winning someone over. It is about building a bond with someone who is ready, present, and emotionally aligned with you. When two people are ready for each other, the connection is effortless. Communication flows naturally. Technology complements the bond rather than dominating it. Messages feel meaningful. Calls feel comforting. Time feels intentional. Love becomes something that strengthens your life instead of draining it. Never chase love. The right person will never require pursuit. They will meet you halfway. They will show interest without being pushed. They will make time without being reminded. They will make effort without being asked. They will choose you with clarity, not confusion. And when someone chooses you, you will understand why chasing never works. You will see that love feels different when it is real. It feels balanced, calm, and steady. It feels like coming home to someone who genuinely understands you. It feels like compassion instead of competition. It feels like support instead of stress. It feels like mutual growth instead of emotional exhaustion. You attract this kind of love by becoming someone who no longer needs to chase validation, someone who values themselves enough to walk away from emotional uncertainty, someone who is patient enough to wait for genuine connection, someone who is secure enough to accept that the right person will recognize their worth without being convinced. When you build a life filled with purpose, love gravitates toward you, not because you need it, but because you have created space for it to grow. You have formed a foundation strong enough to support it. You have cultivated emotional habits that nurture it. You have become someone who understands that love is not about controlling another person's choices. It is about aligning with someone whose choices naturally include you. In the end, attracting love is not about perfection.
It is about progress. It is about learning from past pain, healing while moving forward, and refusing to repeat patterns that once broke you. Technology can provide distractions, but it cannot replace the internal work that attraction requires. The greatest transformation begins the day you decide to stop chasing. That is the day you reclaim your dignity, the day you restore your inner peace, the day you begin investing in yourself instead of waiting for someone else to do it, the day you choose to believe that you deserve love that does not run from you, hide from you, or confuse you. Love that stays, love that grows, love that respects your boundaries, love that appreciates your presence, love that feels like alignment, not pursuit. Never chase love. Attract it by becoming someone whose life is too full, too rich, too meaningful, too grounded, and too authentic to ever rely on the chase.